It's Friday, this is BBC London. I'm Assad Ahmed. In the next half hour, the issue of knife crime in schools has been a talking point this week, so we hear from pupils and teachers about how to tackle the issue.
I do have concerns about things like metal detectors or wands. What is the message it then sends to every other young person about how you feel about them, how much you trust them?
Also coming up on the programme before 7.
I'll be eternally grateful for this because this has genuinely changed my life.
The groundbreaking new treatment giving back this man his voice.
I'm in Piccadilly, where they're preparing to switch on the lights to mark the holy month of Ramadan, which starts next week.
I vow to keep loving you.
And find out why Jenny and Jerry invited us to their very special ceremony after nearly 60 years of marriage. Good evening. In a week in which 2 boys were stabbed at their school in Brent, there's been renewed focus and concern, it has to be said, about safety in schools. A report from the London Assembly this week says it wants to see neighbourhood policing teams across London working more closely with young people, both in and out of school. So we sent Layla Hayes to a school in southwest London to see how pupils are feeling there.
So how many of you think knife crime is an issue in London?
Like many teenagers, these pupils at Richard Challoner School in New Malden are concerned about knife crime. They say they feel safe at school, but not always on the streets.
During the day, you can always kind of hear the siren of a police car or something, but in the night it's a bit quieter. You can't, obviously, your vision is limited and often, there's just less people around.
When it's like night time, you're a bit more worried, just because you can't see as much, and more other people that you're a bit more worried about will be out there at that time.
I do feel quite unsafe sometimes, but when I'm with other people, I feel a bit I'm less I feel more safe with other people.
How safe do you feel in school?
I feel quite safe in school. I think it's a very good environment. I think also lots of teachers as well, I feel like they keep us safe.
But this week's stabbing at a school in Kingsbury has increased concerns, and a recent report by the London Assembly's Police and Crime Committee found many young people don't feel safe or trust the police.
Often they don't feel safe in their interactions with the police. What we want to see is the Met working with young people in terms of their perceptions of safety and about designing training that is absolutely geared towards how the police interact with young people.
The Met say keeping children safe is a key priority, but some are now calling for metal detectors to be placed in schools. The head of Richard Challoner isn't keen.
I do have concerns about things like metal detectors or wands, because yes, it might keep some people safer, but let's remember that it's the vast minority that might carry something that is dangerous. And what is the message it then sends to every other young person about how you feel about them, how much you trust them, how much you respect them?
The pupils agree.
I think if a school started implementing metal detectors and bag searches, people wouldn't feel as safe because they think, oh, why is the reason has this happened before?
If you add a metal detector or you do random bag searches, that feels more like police, that's something police would do, and that increases the fear more than having no metal detectors.
Knife crime has now started to fall in London, but these boys say sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Layla Hayes, BBC London.
Well, Sonia Jessup, our Home Affairs correspondent. It's been suggested by the London Assembly Police and Crime Committee that policing teams establish a stronger relationships with pupils in schools, but isn't that exactly where the cuts have been made?
Yeah, well, as we know, the Met has said it's facing a £260 million hole in its budget, and it has made cuts to services, including to youth engagement and diversion officers and to Safer Schools officers. Now, Safer Schools officers were introduced in 2002. The idea was they would be a familiar face of policing for children to protect them, based in schools to protect and prevent them getting involved in crime. But the Met cut them last year, decided instead said there'd be a new role called a dedicated ward officer, and they'd be out about in the community trying to help children get to and from school safely. Now, some people have serious concerns about that. They think it puts young people more at risk. Others say there's no evidence of that, and they say there's a risk that police inside schools can needlessly criminalise children over minor incidents. Now, what the committee says is that there should have been a public consultation over those cuts before they were carried out, and it now wants a full evaluation of the impact on children's safety.
OK, Sonia Jessup, many thanks for that. A woman from North London who suffered a cardiac arrest while in accident and emergency went unnoticed by staff. Chanel Thompson was supposed to be monitored, but was left with a brain injury. She died 7 months later. Well, an inquest explored questions around her care, and Alison Earle has been speaking with her family.
Getting Chanel into the ocean is not an easy feat, but we were going to start swimming lessons.
A reminder of happier times.
She was just part of my identity, and she was someone that was very family orientated, really cared about her friends. She was just a loving, caring person.
It's now just over a year since Chanel Thompson and her sisters had all come together for a night out.
On the 21st of December, we'd all gone to the theatre to watch Tina, to celebrate Muriel and Crystal's birthday, because they're both born in December, and also just to celebrate the fact that we were all together.
But by the next day, things had changed.
She was just in her bed, unresponsive, and all she was doing was this, like just helpless, frozen state.
After a number of challenges, she was eventually taken to A&E at Barnet Hospital. Due to a history of mental health issues, Chanel was meant to be monitored by a specialist nurse.
She was put on a plan to have one-to-one supervision. This plan was never executed or actioned.
Chanel suffered a cardiac arrest. There was then a delay in giving her CPR, which meant she suffered brain damage.
She may have been left for up to half an hour until someone noticed her. So how does she go unnoticed? You know, was she just ignored? It feels like she was abandoned.
Chanel died in hospital 7 months later. An inquest concluded issues with staffing and how she was monitored all played a part.
There is an over-reliance on bank or agency staff, which in turn has an impact on patient quality of care, because there's that inability to have consistent care. Had there been the one-to-one support observations that Chanel was meant to be receiving, it is possible that the outcome could have been different for Chanel.
The trust which runs Barnet Hospital said,
"We have conducted a thorough review, which included how we can better respond to the complex needs of patients who require one-to-one mental health nursing. We would welcome the opportunity to meet with Chanel's family and learn from their experience.
If we put this down to an unfortunate event that could be avoided, then we are normalising this to be okay, and it's not. The worst has happened for us already, but at least we can try and be part of a story to show that the system is not working."
They're calling for better mental health training and provision to ensure other families don't have to go through what they have. Alison Earle, BBC London.
Well, this is your news for London and the home counties. Still to come tonight.
Taking a dip in the Thames isn't everyone's idea of fun, but this stretch is about to become the first designated bathing area in the Greater London part of the river.
A nurse who struggled with his voice all his life has been given the ability to speak louder and more clearly thanks to a new pioneering technique at Guy's and St Thomas's Hospital. 45-year-old David Metherall caught a rare virus as a baby which affected his speech. But now medics are using plasma from his blood to help his voice. Our correspondent Carl Mercer has been finding out more.
So how are you today?
Yes, very well, thank you. Feeling good.
Speaking has always been difficult for David. After catching a rare virus as a child, he had 21 operations on his vocal cords before he was 6.
So we are going to pass this little camera through the nose to look into the voice box.
The scarring on his vocal cords has left lasting damage.
Into the wall and head down there to this.
I've never been able to sing. I've never been able to shout. I've never been able to... I've just been limited in so many ways.
So this is all looking very good, David.
But David is one of the first people in the country to have this new treatment, using something called platelet-rich plasma, where his own blood plasma is injected into his vocal cords.
After we prepare the PRP, we can then inject it very carefully and precisely into the vocal folds on the area we want it to regenerate or speed up the healing process, and also to remodel any scar tissue that is there, which is causing the problem.
And the amount of times I've sat around a table and I've really had to think, I have something to add to this conversation. But actually the importance of that isn't enough to warrant me putting that much effort in to talk to someone at the far end of the table. Whereas everyone else can just project their voice, and I've never been able to do that. And being able to do that now is, yeah, it's really liberating, actually. Really liberating. And yeah, I'll be eternally grateful for this, because this has genuinely changed my life.
The treatment is only for a limited number of conditions at the moment, but is, say the team here, transformative.
Voice is so important, isn't it, for everything? It is, a lot of people say it's the window to the soul, and to be able to express yourself, to reveal to people who you are, what you think, how you feel about something, calling out in case of danger, or because reading a story to your child. We use our voice for absolutely everything, even just ordering a cup of coffee in a cafe. And not having a good voice often reduces people's confidence, and it stops them from doing the things that they want to do. It has a massive psychological impact and a handicap in terms of day-to-day activities.
My son knows that Daddy's got a poorly voice, and Daddy's voice isn't great, but being able to read him one of his favourite stories without fatiguing, without constantly having to clear my throat and recompose myself, is just finish him a story and then sing him a little song to get him to sleep. It's what a dad should be able to do, and I've never been able to.
Yeah, David Metherell speaking to Carl Mercer there. Now, Greater London's first public bathing spot on the River Thames has been proposed. It's planned for Teddington and would allow for the public to swim in the Thames itself. Now, water quality will be regularly checked, and although the exact site hasn't yet been disclosed, it has got people excited, as Chris Legg reports.
A mid-February dip in the Thames. How was that?
It's fantastic. I'm always a bit half scared and half really excited, but it's great.
Why did you do it?
Because it's here, and actually the community as well.
You get in, it's cold, but it switches your brain off.
The Thames here in Kingston is non-tidal. It's about to become the first spot on the Greater London stretch of the river ever to be awarded designated bathing status by the government. So what is designated bathing status? Well, the Environment Agency will test the water here every week and publish the results so swimmers know if it is safe. Where pollution levels are too high, the Environment Agency will seek to find out where the pollution is coming from and try to tackle it at source. Billions of litres of sewage are pumped into the Thames every year. But companies like Thames Water have a greater obligation to keep bathing sites clean.
They have to prioritise storm overflows at bathing water sites. So they prioritise bathing water sites and chalk streams as well, and sites of scientific special interest. So they will be done first when it comes to cleaning them up.
For those who swim here, bathing status means everything.
I'm overjoyed, absolutely ecstatic with happiness. I feel there are so many river users that love this bit of river, and it's used all year round.
We can hope that
every little bit of pressure pushes the needle a little bit more and helps clean up this river.
Thames Water is going to be accountable for the first time with actual data, and we can trend it, and it can be sort of above and below thresholds. So that means a lot.
It's fantastic because it means it's safe, it will be clean, it will be kept clean, we hope.
A 6-week consultation is underway, with bathing status likely to be awarded in Kingston this May. Chris Slegg, BBC London.
Well, let's take a look at what's still to come on BBC London in the next few minutes.
We'll meet again, don't know where.
Yeah, a glimpse into the personal life of East Londoner Dame Vera Lynn as her diaries and letters are restored to go on display. Well, the FA Cup is back this weekend with big games for our teams. Radio London is the place to keep across them. Well, that's unless, of course, you're in the stadium for the matches themselves. Nick Godwin has the details.
The FA Cup is back this weekend and there's loads of coverage on BBC Radio London and on BBC Sounds. Our coverage starts at 12 o'clock on Saturday with West Ham's trip to Burton. On Sunday we're on from 1:30 as Fulham go to Stoke. And on Monday evening, Brentford travel to Macclesfield, the team that knocked Crystal Palace out last time. All those matches live on BBC Radio London, on your phone and on your smart speaker through BBC Sounds.
Now, it's less than a week to go before the start of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. It's a time of reflection, fasting and prayer for hundreds of thousands of Londoners. And returning for a 4th year for everyone to enjoy are the popular Ramadan lights in central London. Alice is there for us, awaiting the countdown to the big switch on. Alice.
From around the world that are celebrated in London. We celebrate Christmas.
That's right, Assad. You have joined us here on Coventry Street, which links Leicester Square and Piccadilly. Able to hear in the background the voice of the Mayor, Sir Sadiq Khan, who is just making a short introduction before this countdown for the switch on of the Ramadan lights. And as you say, it's the 4th year in a row that they have put these lights on. They've proved so successful that Germany has also followed suit. London was the first to do so, and I've been told this evening that Germany has started to mark the holy month of Ramadan, the start of it, with similar lights, but these are the London lights that we're waiting for. We're waiting for this countdown, and I can tell you that all around us, this whole street has come to a close. Very, very popular. There are also a number of broadcast media here from all over the world, so it's certainly drawing a lot of attention and crowds to this part of central London. As I said, we're just down the road from Piccadilly Circus, so pretty iconic bit of London. It doesn't get more central in the West End of London than this street between Piccadilly Circus and Leicester Square. Ramadan is expected to start next week, and as they have just said, Ramadan is for everyone to enjoy, and so for those people who want to get involved, who want to take part, whether they are from the Muslim faith, any faith, or no faith, there are other activities taking place in London next week. An interfaith art exhibition has started this evening, which people can enjoy. That's just in Piccadilly Circus, and lots of other activities. But we're hoping that this countdown is going to happen. It sounds like it is. Bear with us. We shall watch this countdown by Rahima Aziz of the Aziz Foundation, which has funded these lights, and of course Mayor Sir Sadiq Khan. Let's take a look.
As we count down from 10 to 1. Are you ready? Rahima, you ready?
I'm ready. The rain won't stop us. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. 10,
9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And so there we are.
From London
the Ramadan lights.
Ramadan Green!
Ramadan 2026 marked here in the West End. Assad.
Yeah, that's great to see, Alice, and you hung in well, fighting to be heard above the Mayor of London, but I think you won, so thank you very much for that. Now, previously unseen letters by Dame Vera Lynn, which show her genuine commitment and respect for those fighting for Britain in World War II, have been acquired by the Imperial War Museum. After a careful restoration process, Dame Vera's belongings will go on display. Bryony Williams can tell us more about it. The Forces sweetheart, who was also an East Londoner.
We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know where.
A British icon and a voice that changed the lives of thousands during the Second World War. And now hundreds of unseen letters from Dame Vera Lynn's archives have been catalogued by the Imperial War Museum.
I need no reminding of my son, he is always with me. But whenever I hear your voice, I can see my son handing me the record, the song that you made so popular.
A fan letter to the Forces sweetheart and a snapshot of wartime life. The museum also has details of the singer's tour of India in 1944.
She borrowed these big baggage shorts and she said they were, the trusty shorts that went with her everywhere. The Ensign uniform that she had actually had a pleated skirt, which was totally impractical for the journeys and the hard road that she had to take.
She also kept a diary, a very small one due to the paper shortage at the time.
There's some lovely entries in here just telling you about her experiences and the conditions and just how many men she was singing to and how many shows she was doing. She's one of the few stars to actually go that far into Bengal and Assam and Burma itself. And that's one of the reasons why the veterans loved her so much.
During the darkness of war, Dame Vera Lynn became a shining beacon of hope for so many.
This is a letter from Lance Corporal Ted Lindsay, written in 1944 when he was in India. I'm going to read a little extract. I saw, believe it or not, blokes crying with joy at seeing our own Vera. Honest folks, she is the soldier's sweetheart. She belongs to the army. The RAF and the Navy are liars. She ain't their sweetheart. Vera wouldn't be that way. Someday I'll get a photo of her, I hope.
A selection of the archives will be on display at the Imperial War Museum from early April, showcasing an enduring legacy for a new generation. Bryony Williams, BBC London.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we reported on how Hornsey Town Hall had been beautifully restored to its full Art Deco glory. Well, after we showed that report, a couple from North London got in touch. Husband Jerry told us that the town hall was where he proposed to his wife, Jenny. That was nearly 60 years ago. So this week, they popped back for a very special reason, and Bhavani Vaddi got an invite.
Oh, wow. We haven't been here since 1968.
The last time Jenny and Jerry were at Hornsey Town Hall was on the night he proposed.
And here we are, back where it all started, where I very unromantically proposed to Jenny. We were standing here, it was very crowded. We were going in to see the Julie Felix concert with folk music with this beautiful girl that I was going with, and I don't like folk music, but we came along because I wanted to be with her.
Nearly 60 years later, they're back to renew their vows in time for Valentine's Day.
I vow to keep loving you, caring for you and growing old with you. One cup of tea, one walk and one memory at a time.
Thank you for a lifetime of love, laughter, patience and kindness. You're an amazing husband, father and grandfather, and I love you for it.
The couple got in touch with BBC London after watching our report about the restoration of this Grade 2 listed building.
What started as a trip down memory lane quickly led to a vow renewal and then a surprise serenade of music they would have enjoyed on the night they got engaged.
The sun is shining brightly.
Performing during the ceremony, a folk singer who duetted on the final song of Julie Felix, whose concert prompted Jerry's proposal all those years ago.
Very strong memories for that beautiful couple. You could feel it in the room, the energy. So I just feel it's a privilege, really, to think that Julie, all that time ago, performed here, and just bring that connection to Jenny and Jerry. It was very, very beautiful.
It was absolutely wonderful to meet this gorgeous couple, married 55 years. So that's certainly unusual. And the way it all happened and came about, all this lovely whirlwind.
So, what is the secret to a long, happy relationship?
Friendship, tolerance.
A lot of love.
Lots of laughter.
Yeah.
I make a laugh pretty much every day. We laugh, not necessarily at the same things, but we do laugh.
Does he? They came back for the memories, they're leaving with new ones. Proof perhaps that sometimes the most romantic thing is to go back to where it all began. Bhavani Vadi, BBC London.
What a lovely story that is. OK, let's get the weather forecast now from Kate, and the rumour is some sun tomorrow.
Yes, the rumour is true. We're hoping the sun does appear tomorrow after a very gloomy and rather wet week. Now, we have had more rain today, some showers, outbreaks of rain, grey skies, just brief glimpses of sunshine. But overnight tonight, it is all going to clear away. Now, this was a progression of the showers. Now, we've still got one or two, so it's not quite dry just yet. And as this sinks south, colder air is filtering in behind it, so we may get a flake or two of sleet in it. Now, this yellow area, the Met Office has a yellow weather warning in place for ice. As the temperature there drops down to 0, whatever has fallen from the sky today is likely to freeze. So could lead to some slippery conditions tomorrow morning. Elsewhere, further east, perhaps hovering just above, but we're expecting a widespread frost. We've not had one of those throughout February. So a sparkly start to tomorrow morning. Great start to the weekend. And with that, the cloud has disappeared. So therefore, that winter sunshine that we've been talking about all week, that we've been hanging our hopes on, arrives. Tomorrow is a dry day, perfect for that Valentine's walk. We've got it all through the afternoon. The wind is lighter. You can't really see on the map, but there's some high clouds, so it's just hazy sunshine. Temperatures tomorrow 6 or 7 Celsius. The sunshine making a little bit of a difference. Let's not forget spring is nearly here. Now, this is the cold air overnight on Saturday. Still with us to start with, but you'll notice we've got a front coming in from the west. Now, that's going to bring a band of rain. Behind it, a little bit of yellow, which means it's milder air. But as this bumps into the colder air, we might just get something a little bit wintry over higher ground especially. So this is Saturday night. That cloud increases and thickens through the early hours of the morning. We're likely to see this front arrive over the Chilterns, maybe the Surrey Hills, something wintry there. But very quickly, that milder air filters in behind, and of course, it's going to turn back to rain. The minimum temperature 2 or 3 Celsius. For Sunday itself, further rain for the afternoon, and temperatures, that milder air arrives. That's it.
OK, frost in the morning, sun tomorrow. That's something. Thanks very much, Kate. Well, that's it for now. Alice will be here with our late news at 10:30. I'll be back with our weekend news tomorrow afternoon at 5:20 on behalf of the BBC London team. Have a very good evening. Bye-bye.